This is Modern Persian Food,
a culinary podcast for today's food enthusiast.
We talk about classic Persian flavors,
modern recipes,
and embracing culture and identity through food.
I'm Bita.
And I'm also Bita.
Welcome to our show.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to episode 130 of the Modern Persian Food podcast. We have an exciting episode today and informative. We are talking about Persian Passover, and we have a special guest. Chef Penny is joining us. Chef Penny is an executive chef and menu curator in LA. She calls herself a culinarian and was the first Persian Jewish chef to be featured on several Food Network shows and network TV. She just released her first cookbook, It's My Time, and we are super excited to have her on the show with us. Hi, Penny. How's it going?
Hi, guys. It's going great. I'm so excited to be here with you, share a little bit about myself, and the holidays.
Yeah. As always, we have my co-host, the other Bita, on the line here too. How's it going, Bita?
Hi. Hanging in there. I'm doing good. Nice to have you.
Thank you guys so much. Thank you.
Great. Persian Passover. I personally don't have a lot of experience with Passover. I don't really know what the rituals are, what the foods are. So I was hoping that you could maybe walk us through that and kind of just share how you celebrate and how blended families can get inspired to celebrate Passover as well.
Absolutely. So I grew up in a very, very traditional Persian Jewish home in Beverly Hills. And when I was before I got married, my mom would, as a matriarch of our family, would just do these elaborate, long tables. When Persian Jews get together, and this is even just for a Friday night dinner, what we call Shabbat, it's minimum 20 people plus. It's never 4 people sitting at a table, none of that. It's always these big, massive parties. So my mom would do these amazing Passover tables, long, and she would have all the different condiments that you needed for the prayers. So whether it was charoset, right, or the green onion that is very traditional in beating each other with. Now, a lot of people might say, well, why would you beat? Well, one of the prayers is you're supposed to beat each other, and you're not supposed to beat each other. You're supposed to gently tap the person next to you with the green onion as sort of the Jews that were slaves in Egypt and what they went through to sort of, feel their pain. So leave it to a Jewish mother's guilt to want to make you feel the pain of what your ancestors went through. So this, little tradition was, always meant to be just, pick up a green onion, tap the person next to you, and put the onion back down. No. This became a showdown, okay? So at first it was one single thin onion or chive, right? Green onion. Then it became the bigger heads of onions, right? The onions that had the big bulbs because you want to make sure that hurt. Then it became stacks of green onion wrapped in saran paper just to make sure you had a good weapon to attack. And when they say Dayenu, right, that's the prayer. It's Dayenu, and they lift the cover off the table. You are guns a-blazing. You are chasing down everybody and just whipping them you should feel this pain. And people run away. I would sometimes go to the bathroom, hide, wait for it to die down, and then come back out. Then there's another.
I don't blame you.
Right? There's another one where it's called lapikach, and it's pinching.
Oh my goodness.
They go around pinching. How not okay is that now with just everyone being so woke?
Are they pinching the cute, cheeks? What part of the body are we pinching?
You can pinch whatever you want to pinch. You walk into this house or any house, it's just all the rules are out the door. And then after that, it was this obviously very elaborate Middle Eastern meal. And my mom's an incredible cook. And she did that for years and years and years. And then when I got married to my ex-husband, I continue the tradition, right? And you want to pass these things down to your children, and it's really like as the families grow, it's so nice to have everyone come together, and it's just such a therapeutic, peaceful time, right? And so when I was married to my ex-husband, who's Iranian, we I continued the tradition. Now, I've been married to an American Jew who's part Israeli, Russian, mixed, Polish, and we blended our families. So my husband's children are half French, half American, and my kids are fully Persian. And so that looks very different. They did not understand the traditions of, we're going to hit each other now with the green onion. My husband was like, whoa, what are you doing? I'm like, no, it's tradition. He's like, no, it's, spousal abuse. I'm like, no, I'm showing you love. So.
Oh, interesting. So that's a Persian tradition to do with the green onions.
That's a very Persian tradition.
Oh.
If you ever end up at any Passover, do not run for that green onion and start hitting people, because unless you're at a Persian Jew's house, no one's going to understand what you're doing.
Okay, good thing to note. Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And so, of course, another thing is no one really waits for the prayers to be done. We all want to have the charoset, or what we call halek, right? Sandwiches, which is like, my mouth is watering. It's like bananas and dates and nuts and wine, and it's made, and every household will have a different version. Okay. The Americans are, used to, like, their charoset is like very cubed apple. It looks like a salsa.
Okay.
Okay. So
apple. Yeah.
Yeah. To me, when my husband said, oh, I said, what you eat is a Passover salsa. That's not, correct. That's not how it should be, because ours looks like peanut butter, and you take the matzah, right? The
cracker,
matzah, yeah. But there's so many flavors now of the matzah. I mean, you walk into Trader Joe's, oh my God, you want garlic flavor, sesame seed, like, it's just crazy. Gluten-free, you name it, they have it. The best is egg. It tastes like an egg bagel. So you take the matzah, you put some of the halek, which is the charoset, you put lettuce, and you make a sandwich, and it's so delicious. We'll eat it for days, right? For days we're eating that. So that's another one of our big traditions. So here we are, blended family, so many mixed cultures. First of all, my in-laws were like, why are there so many people? There's so many people at this table. And I was like, but this is how we do it. And she's like, yeah, but it's like, there's so much, and everyone is so loud.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
We're trying to read and no one's paying attention. And I put my father, who's like in an extended healthcare, I put him on FaceTime so he can follow along.
So
he's
smart.
like, this is a disaster. What have you done? Like, no one's paying attention. I'm like, no, everyone's paying attention, but this is how it evolves, right?
Right.
My kids now I turn one part of the house into a square table, and I put kids. They're not kids. Like, everyone's in their like 20s, but at least they can have conversation and, enjoy their time. And they've already drank multiple bottles of the Passover wine, which is not really the most delicious thing you want to have. It's like grape juice, but it's definitely got alcohol in it. And then we'll sit at the other table and try to continue the prayers going and all that. But I want my children, especially my daughters, I want them to be able to not so much pick up the religious side, but the spiritual side, and to be able to continue these traditions with their own families. And just like Thanksgiving, it's like the same thing with Thanksgiving. We had to kind of blend the two sides. I was like doing turkey with yams, but I had tahchi, because you got to bring those worlds together. And my mother-in-law was like, I'm positive there's no salmon at Thanksgiving.
But Thanksgiving without rice is just sad to me.
Yeah.
My mother's like, but these turkeys are so dry. How do you eat the is so dry. It needs saffron and butter. So to make everyone happy, we kind of just blended, the two ethnicities and the cultures together, and and then some dishes that I wanted my kids to come up with, like I do like a pumpkin lasagna or something like that too. So just, it's about continuing tradition, not putting a lot of weight on religion, and sharing the spiritual side of what all these holidays mean.
Yeah, and it sounds like you're making it your own, taking the different cultures, what you grew up with, what your husband's family, what they do in the States, and then you're kind of making your own traditions that hopefully your girls will then take with them.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And now even that's evolved. So like my daughters, for example, like the day after, right, any holiday, whether it's Passover or Thanksgiving or, anything. Now their next day events includes things like, oh, I'm going to take the Persian rice, and I'm going to take whatever, like some chicken or whatever, and I'm going to have that with kimchi.
Uh-huh.
Like
I love it.
how did that all of a sudden come into
Yeah.
being a part of our culture? It's crazy, right? So guess what? At every meal now, like I have sabzi, right? And I have torshi, because my husband, who's not Persian, is obsessed with torshi.
I love it.
And isn't that a weird thing too? Because I could take a handful, literally what would probably be an entire bunch they sell at like the grocery store, and just put the whole thing in my mouth. Like
sabzi, the fresh herbs, is such a quintessential part of Persian food.
I put it like in my sandwich. I will put like an entire bunch of like cilantro or whatever. I put it
me too.
in my sandwich. I love it.
But now I have kimchi. I probably at this moment in my refrigerator have 5 different kinds of kimchi.
Wow, I love it.
That's your modern day torshi.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Yes. And, we're just everything that they talk about now. And as I'm getting older, and probiotics and, healthy gut, there's nothing like fermented vegetables for your gut, for gut health.
For sure.
So that's the Chinese medicine side of me talking. I did that for 12 years.
Oh,
no, tell us a little bit about that.
So I have a master's in Oriental medicine, acupuncture, herbology. For 12 years, I practiced that before I went into food.
Oh, wow.
Oh, cool.
You can bring such a unique perspective to food that way.
Like the yin and the yang that they talk about, right? So I know how to balance, food tasting right is a balance between yin and yang. So it's just hot and cold.
Yeah, we have a whole episode on that, on the science, the old science of the hot and cold foods.
Which is crazy, right? Which is amazing.
But it so works. It absolutely works.
Like right now, I know you have COVID, right?
I do.
So you should be loading up on watermelon.
Oh.
Yeah. It'll bring down the interheat and toxins from your body. It'll flush it right out.
Oh, okay.
Hi there, friends. We have a quick favor to ask you.
Subscribe, follow, and add us on your favorite podcast player,
so you can get all our episodes every week. Every Wednesday, we have a fresh new episode just for you.
Sign up and don't skip a beat.
So the prayers and the green onion beating and the little sandwich that you're talking about, is this all before the main dinner?
This is all before the main dinner. And another thing that we do is we hide what we call the afikomen. So we hide a couple of slices of matzah, and the kids have to go look for it. And the ones who find it get
Easter egg hunt.
Yeah, like an Easter hunt. There you go.
There you go.
Easter egg
To
hunt.
blend all the cultures and religions.
You're hunting for matzah crackers. Exactly. And if we don't want to discourage anyone, we put a few of them here and there so everybody gets.
Like around the house, like behind the cushion?
Around the house,
okay.
Yeah. It keeps them busy, I'll tell you. If you've got little ones around, it definitely keeps them busy. And
yeah,
then
sure.
We do hard-boiled eggs. That represents something. And then my mom always boils a chicken wing. She always has a chicken wing on the platter. And I said to her, what is this meant to represent? Because I don't understand the chicken wing. And she goes, it's really like the resurrection of Christ. I was like, on a Passover plate? Are you sure?
Interesting.
But she says it in Farsi. But it's like, you want to leave a piece to show the bones of one of the gods coming back to take back what's his.
Okay.
And somehow she thought that meant the resurrection of Christ.
Oh my goodness.
Okay. So there's a chicken wing.
Yeah, I was like, I'll let you have that, but I'm pretty sure this has nothing to do with.
Is it just one chicken wing?
It's just one chicken wing. Yeah. So now I do a whole thing of chicken wings because everybody wants to eat the chicken wing.
Yeah, I was like, who gets that one? I want
Right.
it.
And I'm going to deep fry it. So now, thank God for air fryers, right? And TikTok, you can
Yes.
air fry the best chicken wings. But yes, this is all before you get into the traditional meals. And then
Okay.
the traditional meals are, again, because I have a dual household, right? My husband's side of the family. Now, they all love, like they'll ask, like when my stepson comes home from school and he's coming to our house, warm sabzi is a must.
Oh, okay.
Is a must
On the Passover table?
on the Passover table. I mean, in general, but there's my go-tos are going to be warm sabzi, fesenjun, which fesenjun is another dish that you'll find a different version of in every household.
For sure.
Whether it's sweet or, savory. Some people do too sweet. Some people do too savory. Some people do it with chicken, ground beef, regular beef, whole pieces of chicken. You could do a vegetarian version.
Yes. And two like super iconic Persian dishes, right?
Yeah, super iconic. I do both of them vegan because my eldest stepdaughter is vegetarian. So
Really? Okay. We had a vegan episode too.
Yeah.
yeah, vegan gorma sabzi, really easy. And then fesenjun.
Do you do it with tofu or
With tofu, or you can do oyster mushrooms. That's also good because it's, very meaty. If you saute up oyster mushrooms properly, I mean, it tastes like meat.
Yeah. And it has the kidney beans, which is protein and lots of nutrients.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Just for our listeners who don't maybe not know what korma sabzi is the beautiful dark green herb rich stew that we serve over rice. It has kidney beans. You can substitute black eyed peas with some sort of protein usually, and the sour lemons, limon amani in them. And that's a really delicious, iconic Persian dish. Fesenjun, we've talked about before, is the dark amber colored walnut and ground walnut and pomegranate molasses stew that's served over rice as well. So just for anyone who doesn't know what those dishes are, that's what we're talking about.
Just think of it as like a Persian mole.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Very close.
Yes.
Very close. And if you don't know what it looks like, pick up my book.
Yes.
All right. We were just going to ask you what projects you're up to and where our listeners can find you. Tell us about the book.
So book is called It's My Time, THYME, is on Amazon.
Okay.
Paperback or hardcover. And, I didn't want to first of all, this book took me 7 years to write.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Labor of love.
So much work.
I started writing it and, 7 years ago. And then my sister passed away. My younger sister passed away. And I stopped because you just don't have that mental capacity to be in the space to write about, just to do anything, but especially to try and write fun stories for a cookbook was not the thing. And so I stopped writing it. And then at the beginning of the pandemic, I said, you know what? I'm locked inside the house and I can make a lot of gluten-free paleo banana bread, which I did. Or I can start, testing out these recipes. That's how it became It's My Time. I decided, okay, it's time to finish the book. And it's really filled with not just great traditional recipes that I have demystified, because Middle Eastern recipes can be very complex if you pick up the traditional. There's some great traditional Persian cookbooks out there, but they're so hard to follow. They're so hard to follow. Like you talk about what makes Orma sabzi unique is the limua money, right? The dehydrated lime. Well, good luck finding dehydrated lime, right? But it's not like the most common thing. But just to approach it with like, I think it's important to like give really easy recipes, but also like make things look pretty. So this is like my arrangement of all the different salads and like mezze and, you know, multiple different kinds of hummus. Like everybody needs to know how to make hummus at home.
A good hummus.
Yeah. And then how easy it is to like change it to different flavors. And so I just wanted to do a book that would be easy for people to follow along and has great stories. Like almost every recipe has a story to follow. And it's not just Persian food. You know, it's really Mediterranean and some things that are more exotic. Like I do a rose petal chicken and
whoa, that's unique.
Yeah, just beyond my mouth as well. And then showing like all the great spices that we have to use. And like I love using, and this is a big thing that I do for Passover, is I love using dried roses in my rice. And it gives it this, like gulab, right? Gulab is like rose water, but it smells unbelievable.
If listeners wanted to look up one recipe for Passover from your book, what would you recommend?
The tachin.
The tachin. Okay. Yeah. The inverted rice casserole. So beautiful. Delicious.
It's so good. It's so good. And again, it's a dish that if you don't want to do it with, you know, protein, you can put eggplant inside. You can make tachin with lima bean green rice. It doesn't just have to be white rice.
Yeah, you're right. You can mix and match.
Mix and match it. And if you just get the base of the rice correct, you can add any fresh herb and beans to it to make it work.
And it can be a complete meal. I love making tachin too.
Oh yeah, tachin is a complete meal. And so that I would say is got to be my favorite recipe in the book. Other than that, you know, restaurants here and there, working on a couple of things for television and yeah, trying to keep busy.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, we'll share your handle and link to your book in our show notes for people to have easy access to that. Penny June, thank you so much for taking the time and sharing what Passover looks like in your home. And thank you for enlightening us.
Thank you, guys.
It was super fun.
Thank you.
You've been listening to the Modern Persian Food Podcast with Beata and Bita. Thanks for spending time with us. If you've enjoyed what you heard today, consider telling a friend or giving us a good rating. You can subscribe to our show for free on your favorite podcasting app or find us online at modernpersianfood.com or on Instagram for the recipes and information we talked about today. We'd love to hear your thoughts and see you next time.